Okay, so we've got another pre-made going now. Had to set up, so I missed the beginning, but everybody broke up their rocks. So that's all that happened, really. 700 bounty for Tala. Who has 200 supply. Whoa, Vikings coming out from Hellhound immediately. And you saw Demonator get the BC and immediately teleported them out using the tactical jump. So yeah, so Hellhound immediately buys the Vikings, which is quite funny because this tactical jump is a new ability. Usually the BC would be dead in that situation because he bought them on top of the BC. So if they were trying to crawl away with their slow movement speed, they would have definitely died there. But able actually to escape, on yellow health, it's pretty decent, and already able to do it again. Meanwhile, one of these Vikings took some serious damage. I think he's already lost one. Yeah, he's already lost two because they took a lot of damage thinking they'd be able to get him. The two Cyclones coming out, very good at. You see the huge radius there. All they do is they zone out. They zone out the air elites that could possibly come out. They don't really kill anything, but they're very good at scaring them away, especially slow units like the BC. But Yamamoto, they're going to come out. Loses one. Oh, very nice. Well played, Demonator. Yamamoto's the Cyclones. The Cyclones did do quite a lot of damage to one of them, but the tactical jump immediately out. So actually, the one that was Yamamotoing wasn't tanking it. The other one was tanking it. Big run in Ramtala now. Runs into quite a big concave, and the BC will turn around. Oh, that was a ghost, was it? Ghost from red, so able to actually finish what he started with the Cyclones. Yeah. Ghost Cyclone coming out. Ultralisk coming out. Dallas loves his Ultralisk. All of a sudden. Demo buying an OBS and his and a second battlecruiser. The thing about the battlecruiser tactical jump is that now you don't get the shield with it. The shield upgrade that protects your battlecruiser from anything that does 50 damage. So effectively that's snipe, because that does like 800 damage, and you get to just never die to a snipe from a ghost against your BC. But then of course, if you're going to play the OBS here, it's got the energize ability, so we'll actually be able to feed the BC energy. So even if you EMP the BC, you'll be able to fill them up again and use the Yamamoto once more. Free trade losing a Cyclone, having it quite alone there, wasn't the best. But the dangerous part of the OBS is that once you EMP it, it's only one right click. A single right click from the ghost will kill the OBS, which is quite sad. Yeah. So looking at the bounty board, Andrew actually leading with 1600 bounty. Hellhound and Kankan are still on the 900. Everyone else breaking the 1000 mark. But Andrew leading quite hard. I'm curious as to see with the +2 specters he has, and a smiley face he's just pulled. No energy, Andrew. I see. So he's been able to get something done with that ghost, I'm guessing. So 2 Cyclones out still. BCs and Cyclone on that team. Ghost and what's this coming out? Another Ultralisk. So he did lose the Ultra. Dallas did, which is quite significant because it's 350. Quite a lot to lose. Yeah. Big run around here, Tala with his zealots. I'm wondering, yeah, the left tower hasn't been taken by the top right team, so they didn't see that charge, and that was just really sad that they didn't have that tower, and against temples, They really need to keep taking that tower. There's no reason they shouldn't. Another snipe on the battlecruiser coming out from Hellhound, I believe. Yeah, he's low on energy. This ghost is full on energy, so it's Hellhound that got a snipe on it. So there's a ghost on either side of Demo. He has to be very careful. What's this? Can with a medevac and Marauders. +1 Marauders and a health upgrade. Or 2. No health upgrades. Marines start with 55 health here instead of 45 like on the EU version. Yeah, the Marines, they get free stim here and an extra 10 health to begin with. So I'm really unsure why that needed to happen. It effectively means that the most late game unit is able to come out faster, and you'll see people just kind of rush Marines on this, which is just terrible in terms of meta. 250 lost there. Actually lost his ghost to a Yamamoto, which is quite funny. That's the counter to the BC. So, big Savior coming out though, able to kill 2 BC, but an actual jump may have even saved those 2 BC. Very rude to do that though. Savior for BC. Hellhound, bit trigger happy with that Savior. Wasn't really worth much. Yeah, he took out 300 from an enemy, but he didn't actually get much. You only get 150 for killing it. Yeah, you have to remember, obviously, if you keep those 2 Saviors for sudden death, that's 1500 minerals. You can get yourself an ultimate. All ultimates cost 1500 minerals, so you know you've got the exact amount from the Saviors. Plus you get the 500 for the sudden death, so you're up 2k at sudden death if you keep your Saviors, which is very significant if you want to make a big play, a big move, in order to take this mid, because that's the time you want to be changing at sudden death, because by the time your enemy has caught up to what you've done, you've held mid for long enough, hopefully, and made some money. So the change at sudden death is much more effective than any other time, because otherwise, you know, you could maybe change into air, for example, and then everybody just sits in their base until they have Goliaths out, and it's just not as effective. Whereas if you'd done that at sudden death, you just sit mid with your air units until your enemy gets the Goliath mass out, gets the Corruptors Vikings out. But by then you've already earned, you know, 2k from sitting in mid and taking every tower. So Dallas, interesting choice with these with this Ultra. Not really taking any damage from Marauders, obviously, but nice escape there, and another nice escape there. Yeah, not really taking any damage from Marauders, the Ultra, but of course the Yamamoto can burst down this Ultra. You know, once he gets a few upgrades on there, especially. So what is this? 960, so he's doing almost 3k damage. If he triple Yamamoto's this Ultra, he can take him down from 3k, which is you know, 60% of his health. Ghost going down once again for Hellhound. Guessing, yeah, that was Andrew who managed to snipe Hellhound's Ghost. So Hellhound losing that Ghost quite a lot, at least twice from what we've seen. Once to the Yamamoto and once to a snipe. Which is a bit unfortunate because, yeah, so he's saying he didn't have a scan, which is unfortunate because the Ultra is very susceptible to enemy ghosts now, and Yamamoto's also. Interesting, what was he Yamamotoing there, Demonator? He did cast it. I think that, yeah, that was a misclick. He intended to time warp tactical jump out, but it accidentally Yamamoto'd. Yeah, so he's saying nice Yamamoto. Yeah, it's a new ability, so I'm guessing his muscle memory just got him to do the ammo instead, which is something that he's more used to clicking. Have to give it a bit of time to get used to this new ability. So Can going for roaches, very interesting. Just +1 roaches for now. Taking a look at the bounty board real quick. Andrew on 3.6k, yeah, still leading. I don't think he's lost anything. He's only had the Ghost, and now he's got his favourite unit, Phantoms, out with the stun. You can see he's got the concussive rounds there. So he will. He was very good at just catching enemy armies out and stunning them to death, barely losing a Phantom during the process. And now it's actually Phantom Crawler. So able to this strat, you know, able to catch people out in 2 different ways, with the stun and with the burrow. Big pop up, loses quite a few crawlers, but also the splash on this Spectre Marine army is pretty heavy. Big charge in from Tala. I'm not really sure I agree with this, although, yeah, forces the tactical jump. Like I say, a lot of players now will just be going pure Marines, so yeah, +5. Because you get the free stim and the free health upgrade. Can running in, figuring, you know, he'll be able to get something off of Demonator. He does get a lot, but also loses a lot. Ob's doing some work as well. Has to be very careful of Andrew's Phantoms, but you see quite a few +8s there running into the choke. Hellhound's army +0 and yeah, +0 Phantoms. So Hellhound's army actually quite the feed to everyone on the map, really. So anyone that engages with him will be doing quite well. Just +5 Spectres coming out of red here. Not really sure what that's about. +5 Spectres and a support tower. And pure Marine upgrades, just straight +6. All his money's on +6. Immediately, you know, makes the Cyclone and doesn't lose it though. Survives by the skin of its teeth. Had the recall there ready. Demel on +4 with 3 BCs and an OBS. So if he keeps the OBS and the 3 BCs, he's in a good spot to farm the enemy, who haven't actually got that much to deal with these BCs yet. They have the Ghost to neutralize EMP, you know, with the EMP, but not really to kill. You know, to kill the BC, they're going to need to surprise him at this stage. You know, they can't just fly in there with a Goliath and VP or something, or Corruptor VP with the Dark Templars. You know, so the BC should be able to farm a little bit more before going down. Can trading probably favourably here. 2 Cyclones and a Ghost don't actually have that much DPS, I don't think, compared to, yeah, look at all these numbers, all these +3s and 4s here, as opposed to just a few +10s. Does Can, yeah, he has a support tower and a medevac. Medevac not really useful with crawlers because they're underground anyway, so kind of unfortunate that he's had to do that. Free trade, able to... Oh, actually, Talos sniping a Cyclone with just the Marine. You know, he's got no elites, no heroes, nothing, just Marines, and charges this composition and manages to get a Cyclone. Which is, yeah, the kind of sad part of this game, I think now. You know, just straight +9 now. Not even a single health upgrade on these Marines. He's just got straight +9 damage. It's kind of funny. Hellhound hiding in the corner a little bit with his ally. They don't really have much to catch the enemy out of anything. They've just got this Ghost ready. EMP coming out, neutralizing 2 of the BCs, and now the Ultralisk is feeling confident, but taking some damage. Yamamoto again killing the Ghost off of Hellhound. That's at least the 3rd time he's lost that. Can borrows away, but yeah, this is playing against Andrew right here. Most of those +8s were the temples, and then you see all of these +3s. Immense feed from Tyler there. You know, he's got +9, which is a lot of attack, but not a single health upgrade. Meanwhile, there's quite a more modest 1-5 tech path from Andrew, and quite a few health upgrades as well. Those are probably all on the Phantoms, because Andrew, you know, oh, he's got +5 on his Marines as well. So 1-6 and 1-1-5. So very conservative upgrades. You know, he's not putting all in his eggs in the Phantom basket. He's got upgrades in everything, and this enormous mass right here of Phantoms. So looking at the bounty real quick, Andrew on 6.5 thousand. Jesus Christ, that is a very strong lead. 1,500 lead for Andrew. Able to find feed, I think, on both sides. Ultralisk missing the mark there. Doesn't actually stun anything, and it's going down. Yeah, 350. Oh, and the stun, and then Can popped up with his crawlers and took that medevac, neutering bottom right effectively. Hellhound had just lost his Ghost to Demonator's Yamamoto, and now they've lost the medevac and the Ultralisk. So, like I say, with the stuns and the pop-ups here, able to actually surprise their opponents, capture them. Wouldn't be surprised to see an Angry Savior coming out from Hellhound especially. The Ultralisk is being made out of this CC, so can't really... Well, he could cancel it and cast it, but not really worth it. Andrew recalling out, Can also recalling out. Demonator trying to does get a few units there for his trouble, for the stim. Marauders are a nice choice because any ghosts or anything that comes up, the slow will be able to catch up with him and kill him. +6 coming out, and 2 health upgrades in the Marauders, that is. So yeah, not bad going for the team 1, and Demonator on 4.6k, free trade on 4k, so also not doing too badly, that team. Hellhound really struggling because he's lost 3 ghosts as well. Dallas as well lost at least 2 Ultralisks now, so that's 700 he spent rebuilding, and obviously 750 or 700 on making it. So quite the real bounty here is about 4k, and here is about 3k. So definitely Team 4 struggling a lot. Tala and Red, doing an average amount of effectiveness of their pretty vanilla strats. Just a ghost from Teal and a +9 damage and temples from Tala. So not actually much coming out here. Not much to lose, not much to gain with. Still got 1 Cyclone from the start of the game. +5 damage. And no health upgrades whatsoever. But 1600 minerals banked, so that's going to be air most likely. Yeah, well that will be air. I mean, without Goliaths, I think. Oh, Cyclone going down there to Phantom Stun. That's what I said. Andrew's very good at doing that. Doesn't lose his ghost though. I was thinking he would probably lose that, but actually I don't think Tyler realised that his ghost had been out of position and scanned. But yeah, although Andrew has neutered top left, he will probably want to switch into Goliaths because this will be air in a second. 1900 minerals. Yeah, so here come the Void Rays. Vincent is helping develop the game right now, so he knows full well that Void Rays have only one unit that anyone else can pick. So he's abusing effectively his own bad balancing right there by picking Void Rays, knowing that there's no Goliaths in the field. So either this team switches to Goliaths, or they will just lose regardless of their bounty lead. Yeah. Which is very funny. I find it very funny. Like you develop the map, you make it really bad, and then you abuse the fact that that you made it really bad. Oh dear. Oh my gosh! And Can actually able to kill an Ultralisk, with just the crawlers there. That shouldn't happen. Able to catch him as he's going home. The sledge very dangerous for any retreating units. Yeah. But I mean, Can will have invested a lot into the middle upgrades on these roaches. They really need organic carapace to be effective. But Andrew has, like I said, he's been a bit more conservative. He hasn't got anything but the stun, I think, on the Phantoms. So he will actually be able to switch into Goliaths pretty painlessly. He'll only have invested 1050, which isn't great, but it's not the what Can will have invested, which is about 2k for all of the shop upgrades. These organic carapaces ones, and then getting roaches and then crawlers. Yeah. So Andrew, I just recommend 2 medevacs and Goliaths and just completely destroy this team. Yeah. Andrew actually coming out here. Yeah, did need to back out, I think. Can lose your Phantoms very easily, I think, to the Marauder slow. So if he gets caught out, it's going to be a big problem. Yeah. So if we look, Andrew's on 9.6k right now, but his Phantoms will lose to like these half bounty Void Rays, and there's really no reason for that other than bad balance. Like, it's not because Void Rays inherently counter the Phantoms, or that they have anything that's supposed to counter them. It's just the stats of having all of these units in one spot and then no splash on the phantoms means that the voids will kill them. So here we go. Ultralisk able to survive this time. He's lost it 3 times, which isn't great. And this army is actually enjoying all of these weak units against Marauders. So the Marauders were getting a lot of feed there until these Warriors came along. Yeah, air is fun, isn't it? And oh my gosh, Can able to kill the Ultralisk again. Big Savior coming out. Very nice. Good Savior. Good time to use it. A lot of numbers there. So Andrew actually now forcing... Where is he? Oh, I can't type to him. Yeah, Andrew actually forced to go Goliath. Good that he's got a medevac, that's for sure. He's going to be able to abuse this now because he's used the Savior, so he knows he's only got 1 left and then he can drop here without penalty. A 250 going down there. Is that Hellhound's Ghost again? Yeah, I think that's Hellhound's Ghost again. Yeah, Free Trade still has his, so that was definitely that. And Demonator on 7.6k, so 1.4k above above the Void Rays, but again, bad balance. These Marauders and Marines will never ever trade against these Void Rays. Big drop coming out from Andrew. Like I say, he knows this guy has already wasted his Savior, killing all his Phantoms, so now he'll be able to mop up the compound, this Photon Cannon, and then trade. You know, these are just +3 Phantoms. So Andrew playing very well. Very smart, I would say. Getting the medevac out and dropping, you know, this player that's just revealed to him that he's used the Savior. I mean, it was a very good Savior, so I'm not saying the Savior was the problem, but I think what he should have done is Saviored and then spent the money that he just got, you know, running over here, getting 2 tanks, and then placing them down here, because it's almost guaranteed that Andrew is going to drop you after that. But still, very worried for Team 1, because even though they've played well and they have such a huge lead, bounty doesn't matter when you're playing against this. Just look how many Void Rays there are in one spot, and the DPS of all of them is going to be better than anything you can have regardless of bounty. Big drop coming out from Andrew, able to clean up all of these effectively 0-0 units, because they're all Marines, so actually able to feed quite a lot on what Vincent has left there. Which is quite smart. Also pulling them back, wasting a lot of time that should have been farming there. Oh, Demonator actually killing the compound and then jumping out. Big jump in from Tala. What's this? Oh, he's re-enabling Marines. Dallas needs the help of this Ultralisk, or the compound will go down. It does look like the compound will go down. I think they have a Savior. They should have at least one. But looks like the team 4 has given up. Dallas seems to be AFK. Is Dallas AFK? Oh, now he's back. I mean, if he saviors now, it's going to be very unfair because he didn't really. Yeah. Or did Dallas leave and I just didn't notice? No, I don't think he's still here. He's just AFK. Alright, so Team 4 is gone. They just kept losing their heroes. Like Dallas lost his Ultra, you know, 4 or 5 times, and then Hellhound lost his Ghost so many times. Was unable really to make use of either of the hero choices that they had. So Demonator on 9k, able to take quite a lot of that from Team 4. Free trade on 7s, not bad, but the Goliaths need to be coming out. So here comes big Void Ray play. Backs out. Ah, okay, so Andrew opting not to get Goliaths, but he's going to try the Corruptor Viking way. And also 2 VPs from Can will be able to keep all the Void Mass in place. Can not opting to use the VPs there, I think, because Andrew can stun everything to death. So now they're kind of set as a base defense. You know, the Void Rays will never be able to kill the compound from Can because, you know, 2 VPs, air turret, and all of these units are going to shred through, you know, if they're all clumped up here. But what's more concerning is at sudden death, they're going to have, you know, either a camp mid or hold here the whole game and just keep sending small amounts of units out. But it really prevents them from sitting mid, you know, camped up like you would in a normal game. So it's going to be people just sending shit to mid. Big drop coming in from Andrew, but yeah, all of these Marines are getting shredded despite the huge lead that Andrew has. But good corruption coming out and actually forcing the Void Ray player to put a missile turret down is quite interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, that's what Void Rays are supposed to do. They're supposed to force anti-air investment. But there's 150 minerals that has been spent to prevent Andrew's medevac, which cost 200 minerals, which is quite funny. But yeah, Kankan has been scanned here, needs to realize that and back out. Does so wisely. And there needs to be the two big VPs coming out from these from these Dark Templars and shredding this mass when it's unsplit. But still, without actually having Goliaths, Team 1 will have a lot of trouble, especially at sudden death, holding their own, and especially if Demonator starts dropping Andrew or even Free Trade doing some damage to them. It could get very troublesome. So big Void Prisms coming out of the Dark Templar. Very nice, able to take quite a few numbers here. You can see a lot of plus 18s. Does lose a Corruptor there, no, a Viking there, which hurts a little bit, of course. Actually, only has 2 Vikings. I think he lost 1 and just bought 3 and not 4 in the first place. So yeah, that was nice. That's the sort of thing that we need to be seeing out of Team 1 in order to deal with it. But this is like, you know, it's not really what I'd call a counter, because it takes 2 heroes and then the coordination from Andrew and then bad positioning from the Void Ray player to pull off. It's not like an actual counter where the units that you have are doing particularly well. Demonator getting caught out a little bit here. These Cyclones actually locking on very funnily to a Void Ray because it's auto-cast. The lock on it is auto-cast. Alright. Yeah. So it's an interesting little game here. Cheeky little drop coming out of Andrew. Kankan sitting in mid, able to pick off anything that happens really with this enormous Crawler mass, but only 1 armor on there and +7. So he's going for the pop up and do tons of splash damage attack build. Might actually distract Free Trade. Yeah, he's going to distract Free Trade with the Crawlers as Andrew's going to come along and drop Free Trade himself. So even though Andrew Kankan lost a lot there, we'll probably be able to take this compound out. Yeah, it is actually able to take that. Andrew's Marines getting quite scary now. Still, I would just say to Andrew, get bloody Goliaths. I'm not sure if Andrew knows how dangerous they are, so if he doesn't, you know, he's pretty screwed. Oh my gosh, Kankan actually losing a DT, almost 2, from just having his units there. Big Savior coming out from Canny, I think that was. Yeah, it came from this general direction. Red still just been sitting in base with Void Rays. It's not a very exciting tactic. Going to go and poke, maybe force the Savior out of Demonator, or just back out again. Just sitting on a large fat mass of air. And now he's gone for a Thor and Void Rays. I don't know why. I guess to attack the Corruptor Viking medevac sort of thing. There's also these BCs which are going to cause some trouble, but Void Rays are quite good at picking off other heroes in elites, so I don't really know what the Thor is for. Unless it's like Excal who says he just picks Thors because there's no counter to them. The Ghost needs like +10. Like you actually need a Nova to deal with the Thor, which is a very expensive counter. So perhaps it's that. Perhaps it's just a defensive Thor because it's even harder. You can't really deal with Thor once it's in someone's base. You know, you can't sneak up on them with a Ghost. You can't lift them up with a Phoenix, especially if you've got 800 supply of Void Rays behind it. So there's that. Demonator sneaking along here. He's got 2 BC, no 3 BC. They're bunched up, and an Obs scouting to see if Andrew will actually be able to see this coming. So going to be able to triple Yamamoto and then bounce out of there. Looking at the scoreboard, you know, Demonator's thinking, okay, I'm doing really well. I'm second highest bounty, but Andrew is 14k, even 4k higher than I am. So I need to start dealing damage to Andrew. who doesn't expect this is happening. So here comes Triple Yamamoto, doesn't even need to scan. Oh, but doesn't actually kill the compound. Doesn't do enough damage. How interesting. The Demonator's thinking, where's my bloody money? Has +7 on these Yamamotos, but are only doing 1360, so 3900. Well, slightly over 4000 damage ish, but not, yeah, about 4100, 4200 damage, and this is, you know, surviving a 300 HP every time. And that was it, you know. Andrew, you know, fooled me once, you know, he's not going to be caught out again by the BC. He's already positioned his anti-air there. But yeah, because of these Void Rays and how badly balanced they are, the game is just slowed down. Like, you know, everyone's kind of just like sitting in their corner, sitting in their base, except for Demonator, who's doing a Brave, and they're trading with the other team that hasn't got Void Rays. But this is a very short-term solution, guys. You need Goliaths. Like, each team needs Goliaths. Team 1 and 3, one of them needs to swap. It's going to be probably free trade. There needs to swap for the Goliaths on team 3, and Andrew that needs to swap on team 1. I mean, Andrew is used to swapping. It's not like he's afraid to do anything other than Phantoms. He just likes to start off of them, and he acknowledges that they fall off very, very hard, and he knows better than anyone else that they fall off very hard. So once it gets to sudden death, I'd be very surprised to see Andrew still on Phantoms. He usually changes to Temples, which is of course a really nice late game unit. But this time, you know, Temples are going to be terrible. But yeah. Oh, nice corruption actually coming out. Oh wow. VPs and corruption coming out. Still, these Phantoms, you see, they're getting shredded. Shredded purely because of the amount of them there. Like, you see, there's actually not that much damage there. He's still on 600 supply. Yeah, just terrible balance. Demonator and Free Trade slightly late to the party there. They could have backed that a little bit either side, from here or from there, and force some damage. So Andrew still not getting the Goliaths out. I think he's finishing his Marines. 1 armor 11 and 145 health. That's all well and good, and against everybody else's army it's going to be great, but against this, you know, it's not going to do anything. Yeah. Until people have got Goliaths, the game is going to be very slow. No one can really leave their base because the Voyagers just fly in and just decimate everything. Can, because he can crawl under stuff quite quickly and just recall out if it gets too messy. So actually burrowing up and taking an engagement. Yeah, I mean, this is what they need to be doing. They need to just be trading with each other and then camping. Demonator killing the compound, but actually losing 2 BC and giving Andrew 300 of the 350 that he lost. So actually both teams lost out there, and made Team 2 slightly stronger because, you know, you only get half the bounty for the kill. Except, you know, obviously Demonator got 350 for killing this compound, and it cost 350 to rebuild. But you know, he lost 600 for the BC and got 350 for killing the compound, so that wasn't worth it. And Andrew lost 350 and gained 300 for the BC, so it ended up better for Andrew than it did for Demo. But yeah, see, Temple Marine, like pure Marine, this is as well. +9 now. Andrew, I mean, Demonator doing a nice flank there, forcing the recall, but no one's actually killing Void Rays. So there's that. Ooh, big Seeker coming out. Talar actually stuck between Demonator in the mid here and Can with the crawlers. Not sure what this is about. Yeah, this is just fed. He should have just hid them in the corner. Like, that would have been better than feeding the entire lot. Andrew prepared for some damage here. Won't be able to do too much here. Not sure what his big plan is. Gets shot down by the Thor. Yeah, I mean, until you've got Goliaths, nothing of the sort, nothing like this will work. Turret, Void Rays, and Thor, you know, what are you going to achieve here? This needs to be a switch, Andrew, mate. No doubt about it. You want to be trading with Team 3, and then once you Goliaths, just decimate this. You can either just kill this turret from here with the Goliaths, or just fucking drop the 2 medevacs full of Goliaths on top of the compound. He won't have Saviors sudden death. These 2 tanks will be gone in seconds. Multi-lock will do the rest of the work for you. Everything here will be gone. So there's that. This, like I said, this is a very short-term solution. Trading with Team 3, and having these elites. Defensive Void Prisms. Look how many. Look, he's shredded about 8. You got about 80 minerals from that. These Marines are going to get shredded as well. I don't think he hasn't killed. Yeah, okay, 2 Void Rays just died. 3, 4 Void Rays just died. 5 Void Rays just died. But the amount of Marines that died, it definitely wasn't worth it. There's no trade that you can do without Goliaths. Can opting to go for the Dark Archon, I believe, with the pool. Well, not the pool. The savings of 1,400 minerals. I don't think he hasn't even finished the carapace upgrades here. So Can going straight for the Dark Archon. So that massive Void Prism is going to be able to help definitely with this composition, and it's just a good unit to have late game generally. Impossible to kill, very good disable. Andrew Marines are actually significantly better than Talus, who's gone pure Marine. If you check his compounds, yeah, oh, what? What is this? He's gone +9 on his temples. Very strange. Andrew's got +7 on his merc. I did not expect. I expected 0 attack on his temples. But he's gone for +9 on his temples and +9 on his marines. A very I'll just say it, wrong upgrades to put damage on your tank. At least most of those upgrades needed to have just gone on the marines. The value that you get from that is significantly higher. Able to get 4 Void Rays there. That's 72 minerals for Void Rays. So if you give that for free, it's not bad. 18 per Void Ray. The trouble is, look, 3 Mirages just died. Oh, very nice. Seeker actually able to take out 4 Voids and deal quite a lot of splash damage. But yeah, this is going to be terrible for Can. Going to get absolutely decimated. Oh yeah, quite a lot of units going down to the Corruptor Vikings there. Andrew able to pull them out before losing all of them, but does lose 1 Corruptor and 1 Viking. Free trade, yeah, trying to pick off, but those Corruptors will live to tell the tale. Yeah, I don't know. Andrew just needs to switch to Goliaths. Okay, he's got the money now. What has he bought? What was that? He spent. Oh, he's just bought upgrades. Ah, silly sod. I mean, if he doesn't get Goliaths at sudden death, I will just PM him afterwards. Like, why didn't you get Goliaths at sudden death? Goliaths counter Marauders on Demonator's team, and also, well, I mean, they get countered by Phantoms, but Phantoms, like I said, aren't a problem in the late game at all. Demonator ready to camp mid. Demonator knows how to camp mid, that's for sure. Seeker's going to be coming out. Maybe not. Archon is out from Can. Yeah. The Archon's out, so it's, until there's Phoenixes on the map, not really going to be afraid of anything, this Archon. We'll be able to harass these towers like that. Very nice for sudden death. It's just in 20 seconds. Needs to be units on the towers. Double Thought coming out from this Team 2. Again, not really sure why, other than the fact that it has very few no counters. But if a Nova comes out for this Dark Archon, the Nova from Team 3 is just going to decimate these Thors. Because what's a gang of Void Rays going to do? Especially if it's like Goliaths with a Nova stuck in it. Big Void Prism coming out on the Marines though. Not quite sure why. Andrew, yeah, still on Marines. 180 HP, so he's going for HP Marines. I'm unsure why. Yeah, very unsure why. Also, quite a frighteningly low mass. Can wants to be getting Marines up pretty soon, because this is, Can's on 300 mass or 400 mass, and Andrew's on 700. So Andrew's nearly full back. Can is looking a bit low here. Leaving this open for Void Rays. Yes, he can blink in and Void Prism, but still. And also, this is a lot of Temple Marine. 800 supply now on Tala. But this is what I was talking about. Making the change at sudden death is very nice. So the Archon comes out right before sudden death. Doesn't give people much time to respond. And we'll be able to sit mid for a while. Checking the bounty board real quick. 18,000 for Andrew. 15,500 for Demonator. This is including the Savior money as well. So anybody that used the Savior will have less of a growth at sudden death, obviously, because like I was talking about, 1,500 minerals. So if both of your players... oh, very dangerous, because this could be a Void Prism moment. Can not wanting to use the Void Prism loses a tank, so you should just move that back a little bit. But yeah, I mean, team 1 doing very well, obviously, in bounty and mid dominance now. Demonator actually able to secure 2 towers here, and team 2 isn't able to secure anything. Because Andrew is being very aggressive against this this side of the map, which makes sense, because why would he be aggressive on this side of the map? There's no one there. But team 2 is getting the income from 1 tower without sitting on any towers, because that's just what happens, for balance's sake, because of course team 2 is in a sandwich right now. Tala about to try and snipe that tank, but gets a Void Prism to the face. And of course the tank... oh no, tank's still going to go down. Marine's looking quite strong. +9 still. So what is he upgrading? Tala. I don't know. He's got 1,600 minerals. Is that a Nova that's going to pop out? Yeah, I think that's going to be a Nova. To try and just lash this Archon to death. Big Void Ray play coming in here, but against all the Corruptors. Yep, needs to turn around. Still manages to lose a lot. That's 590 minerals worth of Void Rays for the Andrew. About the price of a Viking or something. So slightly under. So able to pay for themselves a little bit. Are those Void Rays? Are those Viking Corruptors? And Andrew sitting pretty with Phantoms. In the middle. So now Can has his own Viking Corruptors, able to defend against any big Void Ray play, and having his Dark Archon around mid to deal with any big pushes. But here comes the Temple Marine Void Ray push against pure Phantoms. Yeah, it does need to recall the hell out of there, because that was not going to end up well. But won't be able to sit there for too long. There's the Nova. Actually, Tala opting in for a Colossus, which is a very silly move. And who is it? Free Trade? Free Trade making the Nova? Oh no, it's actually Andrew making the Nova. So we'll be able to just simply lash those Thors without too much trouble, and especially with a Void Prism. Yeah, we'll be able to lash those Thors. Oh, Flies' Void Rays completely unsplit into the Viking Corruptors, losing quite a lot of Void Ray mass there, down to 530 mass. Meanwhile, Andrew's still on 800, barely loses anything. They're trading effectively Corruptor Viking for mass at this point, which is very dangerous for Team 2, because mass is all Team 1 needs to win, just to keep mid and keep the high mass, prevent any real big pushes coming in. I think both of them have planetary fortresses, so a drop will be very difficult to pull off. Can with the crawlers there, so if a medevac flies over, we'll be able to deal some damage to that medevac, maybe even kill it if it's not being controlled actively, and also obviously just negate any drop that could have come. Void Rays and Thor's able to decimate anything that they put on the tower there. It does need to just be throwing one unit on there at a time, because this will be constant, over and over again. This will be happening. Andrew, yeah, going to be rebuying the Corrupted Viking because, like I say, trading Corrupted Viking for Void Ray supply will be good. Big Void Prism and a lot of Viking damage coming in on those units there. But no mass behind all of this. This needed probably to have been behind it, all these units. You know, this is what I was talking about. Mass is going to be the most important thing for Team 1 right now. If they can keep that mass, they can keep quite happy mid. Nova is out and ready to lash things. That's +2. We'll be able to kill a Thor probably. Yeah, should be able to do 4,000 damage. And the Void Prism will be able to guard the lash against anything that comes out. So it just needs to be Void Prism, lash, Void Prism, lash. Oh, and actually just straight up lash. He's bringing it over there. Where did it go? Oh, the shield did come out there. Oh man. And the Archon actually died. I'm not really sure how, but it did. Demonated, huge drop, able to kill one Colossus. The other Colossus died to a lash from Andrew. Yeah, very very sad that Cancan's Archon died there, but overall losing the 2 Colossi, and also one of those Thors is it dead? Yeah, the Thor actually died. So 3 heroes from top left, they aren't going to be able to push out until they get those back, so that's a lot of waitings. 90 seconds for a Thor and 90 seconds for a Colossus, so it's going to be a lot of waiting until they can push out again and start contesting for mid. But you know, this team losing their Archon also, and then low on energy, also having to wait for a little bit. But Andrew is Nova paying for itself, killing the Colossus, killing the Thor, or at least damaging it, and letting Andrew, Demonator, whoever, finish it off, or confirm the kill, as he likes to put it. I'm very surprised that Archon went down, seemingly to just the Marine Colossus, the Marine Colossus combo. Very funny that he just gets +9, so he went +9 Marines, and for the most of the game he had +9 Temple Zealots. That's probably a misclick that he got the +10, and then he goes for +9 Colossus. So it's the 999 build, which in England is how you call the police, and very comparatively, like relatively very low HP, 135 HP to 27 attack upgrades that he's upgraded. Very very low. This observer menu is very funny. I press space, tech upgrades, and it gives me a choice of hero armor and hero weapons only. Yeah. But Demonator actually able to have mid for a while. Looking at the bounty, that's quite impressive, because Andrew's on 25k now. Even Cancan catching up with most of the other players. You know, 3k difference at this point in the game isn't very much, and in any case it's difficult to see, you know, with the amount of elites and heroes that have been going down throughout the game. 3k on the bounty board might not mean much in real term, in pure bounty and clean bounty. But yeah, Demonator actually able to sit mid, having the tank sentries, 4 tanks and 2 sentries from Demonator in the mid, able to defend any large chunks of army that comes in. Sentries, I was about to say, sentries do need to be casting the force fields, preventing the temples to come in. A few too many temples did come in before the reaction came in, but overall still very good to have the force field there. But those 2 Colossi and the 2 Thors really dealing some damage. Lash coming down on a Colossus, and now the Corrupted Viking coming in and dealing some serious damage. One Thor manages to escape on red health by the skin of his teeth. That, yeah, good force field preventing. Oh, very nice. Oh, very nice. See, that's micro there. That's where Demonator excels. Force field, immediate, you know, taking it out. Of course, a Nova on top of it. Not very pleasant. Mind you, that was again, I can't see the nuke here. I'm going to change it after this game, the observer menu. But yeah, I think nuke costs 150, and he was able to get 275s from it. So not a bad nuke overall, getting 2 tanks. Oh, big Void Prism coming out. See, it lasted quite a while. Enough for the Corruptors. Immediate corruption coming out. And the Vikings. Very nice play from Andrew. And Kenny. But in keeping this tower, it's been very difficult for anyone, either Team 3 or Team 1, to hold mid for any considerable amount of time. So obviously they have a free tower. Effectively every team has a free tower, but Team 1 also able to keep this tower for quite a long time, because every time the Void Rays come in, the Void Prism's obviously coming out and shrekking the air mass. Now he's actually lost his air mass. That's game over for Team 2, just because that was what was keeping them in the game. These heroes are useless, because there's going to be a lash coming to each of them. +6 now, so they're going to be able to one-shot everything. Even with the shield on, I think these Thors will be going down. Big fat targets. Free trade, maybe probably going for the Nova kill, because he will be able to one-shot the Nova with the Ghost. He won't be able to one-shot this Archon or anything close. We'll be able to EMP him, of course, bringing down the health considerably, or the shields down, by something like 55%. So yeah, there it is. Actually sapping all of the sapping all of the shields from the Archon. Sitting very quietly for now, Team 1, Team 2, whilst Team 1 re-secure mid once again. Tala taking this tower but immediately running away, and here comes the lash again. Yep, there's nothing that they can do against this. Oh, Thor actually surviving with the shield. So +6 not enough, still 1000 health left on there. +6 definitely not enough for that, but will be forced to sit back in base for a while. Needs to keep sending units up to this tower, just relentlessly, just keeping it, because there's nothing that this team has to keep this tower. He can't just keep taking lashes. The HP on the Thor does not regenerate as quickly as the energy for a lash. 90 is all it takes. So this tower needs to belong to Kankan. Cheeky little drop coming out from Andrew. We'll see how fruitful this is. Quite empty, so you could drop here, clean out this base, take the compound, and if there's a slow reaction from either Demonator or, here we go, free trade, the CC will be going down as well. So the compound was always going to go down because it just wasn't enough here. But yeah, Demonator, as soon as the compound went down, Demonator and a huge concave. BC will go down, obviously just aggroing to the Marines. Was a worthwhile drop for Andrew, who will be on quite high supply, so he can afford to do that. And he knows that they're camping mid and trying to prevent Team 1 from getting mid, so he knows that there'll be a bit more bear over here. They definitely don't have tanks or anything there, because they're throwing everything in mid to try and get some of those mid dollars, or at least prevent the mid dollars from Team 1. Able to get there at 20 past the 19 there, so was able to get the money for it. There's a lash coming down on the Colossus. One Colossus down, big Void Prism, and generally just munching, I guess, with the Archon is the plan. Kankan, having lost all of his Vikings and Corruptors, doesn't really have much to defend this tower other than the Void Prism, which is still obviously very effective. But he seems to be opting to use the Void Prism on heroes. Another lash coming down, doesn't use the shield on the Thor, so that does kill it this time. And actually it's on +9, so perhaps even with the shield it would have died. So Andrew playing smart. He's been playing smart all game. Starting to drop at the right time, upgrading Marines when he realizes Phantoms weren't getting weak. I definitely would have changed to Goliaths rather than relying on these elites, but I can't, you can't argue with the results. With the Void Prism especially, able to rip through the air, and not much of a split coming from the Void Ray player either, so in terms of how effective Void Rays are against Corruptors, not very effective at all when they're in one clump. If he had done what Levy does, Levy doesn't care about Corruptors or Vikings, which is why I don't really tend to use them. Because every time you play Levy, he will split so much, completely just all around his CC area. He splits entirely, and then engages you in such a way that your Corruptors aren't going to be hitting more than 4 or 5 Void Rays at a time. And it's Void specifically that Levy plays all the time, so I would be terrified of playing a good Void Ray player with Corruptor Viking. But yeah, if you're going to clamp them all together, then a Void Prism and some Corruptors are going to do a lot of work. Oh, Can, very nice Void Prism, able to... Oh my god, see how much damage that did. Both of them on red, but Can doing the right thing there. Saving the Nova from a likely death. But insane amount of damage being done out of from Tala, who actually has got 200 health Marines and 11 damage on them. Which is getting slightly ridiculous. But Demonator actually capturing mid and doing well for himself, getting War Pigs, which are my favourite Marine, up at the moment. 14 attack, lower than all the others, but still, you know, you can't argue with his results. Another Nova coming out, I think, from Free Trade. So, if I was you too, I'd be a bit sweaty right now because all of their investments die very heavily. Look how many, all of these are plus 10s. He killed 3 air units there, 3, and lost about 100 crawlers. Void Prism coming out. Does need to be careful because this is not a healthy Archon. And where is the Lash? Lash is in base. Yeah, you know, not really achieving too much here, guys. Without Void Rays, I mean, without Goliaths, those Void Rays are just going to tear through everything. Plus 8 armor to deal with splash damage. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, these guys should know better. Andrew actually switching into Temples rather than the Void Ray, rather than the Goliaths. I will stop making that mistake eventually. I imagine that's to shoo Demonator out of mid. I would be worried about trying to deal with air with just the elites for the whole game, but that does seem to be the angle that they're playing at here. An alternative thing that Team 1 could do is to get 2 Ravens and throw down PDDs every time, and then the Corruptors won't take any damage from the Thors, which could be handy. But yeah, Andrew with the plus 11 Nova needs to be so careful not to lose the Nova to Free Trade Nova, because, you know, plus 9 on your Nova is such a huge investment from Andrew. Big drop coming in. These Marines ripping through those Phantoms. My god. Very few Marines dealing all of those plus 8s there. And only plus 3s in returns. Very, very lucrative trade for Andrew. And actually taking their tower and preventing them from getting that income for a little bit. Basically keeping them in base for a little bit. So here comes his Marines. 160 HP and 11 damage. And Andrew's have got 235 HP and 15 damage. 255. So actually, Tala's Marines slightly stronger than Andrew's Marines, because of course, well, probably not, because half of these upgrades, these plus 11s, are going on to his Marines. But yeah, again, the plus 9 build is still there, so yeah, I think Tala actually has the stronger Marines. But I mean, he has less armor and attack on them, I guess. Andrew keeping the harass on that tower there. And Can by far the weakest Marines. A lot of health on them, but only 6 damage. Vested in this Archon, which is reasonable, you know, he's got a lot of health on that as well. But with Andrew's bounty lead, you know, 33k, I would expect to be able to hold mid without any trouble whatsoever. Big Lash coming out, but taking damage on the Nova does get it out of there in time. Big VP coming out, and nice Concave cleaning it up. But honestly, you know, with the lead that Andrew has, he should be able to hold mid a lot easier than he is holding it. And I feel like he isn't holding it just because he hasn't got anything. If these Void Rays charge in, and then these Thors as well are shooting the Corruptors and Vikings down, he hasn't got all that much to prevent the big surround in the mid. Especially since these Marauders, you know, they get hard countered by Goliaths. So interesting choices coming out from Andrew in the late game. But yeah, the temples are obviously because they will be able to shoot out mid easier and more effectively than anything else. Actually, a Phoenix in there. Those Void Rays just got absolutely shreked. And the temples pushing forward and cleaning up anything that could come in and deal with the Lash. Oh, actually able to get the lift there. Lash coming out kills the Phoenix. Very well played from Andrew. Able to actually to lash the Phoenix. And now Team 2 getting ganked by Demonator, who backs out there. And then backs in there, and then backs out there. Yeah, doesn't really want to be messing with these Marines and all those heroes. Very well played from Andrew there. I'm quite impressed. You know, quite a nice reactionary lash onto the Phoenix. But Demonator definitely knows how to deal with sudden death. Nice tank sentry play here. Corruptors to deal with the Void Rays, sentries to deal with the temples. Immediately throws down the force field and Talus as well. I can't go any further than here, despite my stronger Marines. Cannot do anything about this, my friend, and backs out. So Demonator actually able to get a lot of that mid dollar that he desperately needs. Here comes a big lash from Free Trade. Very dangerous play though. Demonator very nice, covers that lash. Well, the return of the Nova after the lash. I think that Nova would have died if Demonator hadn't done that. So that's the importance of having a teammate that's constantly watching what you're doing and reacting. Like even if he hadn't boosted, he would have died. Nice nuke coming out from Andrew, dealing with the tank at least. Because the nuke costs 150, and the tank costs 150. So if all you get out of the engagement is a tank, then you've paid for your nuke. 150 loss for him, 150 loss for you. And if you get any other units, and so be it. Tell me, recall, come on, where is it? Oh, he's got an anti-hero tower. Why does he have an anti-hero tower? Tries to EMP himself to deny the 750. That was a good move, but, you know, fudged it. Didn't actually EMP himself. Dallas giving a little smiley face. But he has an anti-hero tower rather than a support tower, so he has no recall on this tower. And, you know, that just cost him 1,000 minerals, that decision. Like I say, like, support tower is just too useful. Recall is too useful. Corona boost is too useful. And when you've got 1,000 minerals, you know, that's just, it's insane. I mean, yes, he gets infinite scans with anti-hero tower, because it has consumed, so it has as much energy as it needs. But, you know, losing 1,000 or 750 minerals, I guess, because you didn't buy a support tower is just really sad. And he's just running around here hoping the Andrew would be like, oh, well, he's recalled out. That's probably what I would have done. I'd be like, oh, well, he's run down here and recalled out. I'm not going to waste any time chasing him. But Andrew, either knowing that he has the anti-hero tower, which would be very, very good, very skilled, or just hoping that he didn't have the recall for energy reasons or because he made the anti-hero tower instead, actually paying off really well. But this Dark Archon and Nova is, you know, very, very powerful against everything. Literally Void Prism and Lash against everything that anybody else can do, including other Archons and other Novas. You know, this is one of the strongest strats. More useful than the HT Archon, which although has much more farming capacity, doesn't have any disable whatsoever, or feedback, but can't really call that a disable. It's not going to do anything against Thors, Void Rays, or Colossi. So that's why, you know, Dark Archons, even though he's only got 130 kills on there, you know, isn't going to be particularly amazing. Big Void Prism gets most of the Void Rays and a Thor. Everything's slowing down here. Able to actually, I think, right-click down the Phoenix with the Dark Archon and some Vikings. Phoenix is dead, but interested to see, you know, where was the Lash on the Thor or on the Colossus. Perhaps it was a bit laggy for the players. You know, when you've got a Nova, you don't want to take a dangerous Lash in a laggy situation because, you know, the risk reward isn't there for you. If you get the Lash, okay, 350. If you lose the Nova, 750 minus. So, interesting position. Can actually, if he stands here, he can actually just lash the Thor, but he cannot see that the Thors are just stood there like idiots. So perhaps now he's seen the Thor, he may react. He is just, yeah, he's going for this mid push, but the sentries are blocking him out. Demonator knowing how to camp mode very well. Yeah. I mean, he's taking shots there, but the income from in 2 seconds is going to pay for it. Why didn't he get income? It didn't seem to move. I want Andrew, right? Oh, very nice escape with the picking up the 2 siege tanks, which you can do on this mode. Yeah, picking up the 2 siege tanks and taking the nuke on the Medi, but the Medi didn't die, so he actually saved everything in that situation, which is very good. Andrew, oh no, that's very bad. Yeah, able to recall out, but the graviton beam cancels recall. Oh, but still manages to run away. How hilarious. And probably going to do it again. I mean, he probably just wants to EMP himself, really. Or if he can, EMP the Phoenix. Oh no, he does recall out, but just at the last second dies. And the EMP didn't manage to kill him either. Wasn't able to do the 600 damage necessary. You know, Novas are just so tanky that that he wasn't able to EMP himself. With a ghost, that would have been an instant death, but that's very funny. Still no Goliaths in the field. In a game of Void Rays, it's very concerning. And still Phantoms on the field, which is even more concerning because they're a mid-game unit. But they got 1 Nova, but this Nova has been remade. Very funny that 2 Novas died down here. I'm not really sure what this engagement from Tyler is. He just needs to turn around and lash one of those Colossus, and any engagement afterwards will be in his favour. Not sure what the running away is about either. Just needed to turn around and lash him. Maybe he's afraid of the confidence, like, oh, has your ally got a ghost here or something. But yeah, just needs to attack and then lash. Oh my god, no, not like that. Not sure if did he cancel the lash? I didn't think you were able to do that. You're not supposed to be able to cancel the lash. That's supposed to be one of the weaknesses of a Nova. Perhaps that's been changed, but in any case, that was a really, really bad lash. He needs to send his army, just fight. Just go as if you're going to fight and then lash. But by the time Tyler notices, it's all over. This army is just directly countered by everything here. Where did the Nova go? Yeah, there it is. I think it's asking for a heal, because again, no heal on anti-hero tower. Just scans, you know, so he's waiting over here for the heal beam. Very slow. Slows the game down a lot, not having a support tower. No one actually holding mid. And top right actually losing control of their towers. These Corruptors actually going to be able to kill that Colossus, which turned around for its doom. I don't think Tyler's using a separate hotkey for his Colossi then, because you know his whole army turned around and the Corruptors managed to get the few shots they needed. This lets Andrew sit in mid because these two are too busy. You know, there's so many investments in the field now that you've got to be really careful about the engagements you take. So they're very focused. So meanwhile, Andrew's able to just sit mid very, very calmly. There's the Phoenix, able to actually kill the Phoenix just with an A-click and some Vikings. Pewing down on the only range unit they can see. Vikings, I think 2 died there, 3. No, I think 2 died there. But definitely worth the Phoenix, which first of all costs the price of effectively 2 Vikings, and also is the only way that they were going to be able to deal with that Dark Archon. Jumping away is Andrew, dropping all of his Marines, but they're going to get munched. Oh, but yeah, nice anti-air turret from Can immediately being placed down there. Somebody destroyed base defenses, which is mainly a concern for Team 1 and 3 because the Void Rays could try just fly over here and get a PF. But realistically, that's not going to happen. Everybody has lots of mass, and looking at the bounty board, you know, there's 42k on Andrew and then 31, almost 32k on Demonator. So trying to kill off a CC, a PF even, with Void Rays will be quite difficult. This tower not actually being taken by Andrew's units here. Needs to take that to start getting money off of the towers again. More concerned with the towers that the others have, but yeah, I'm not actually getting any money right now. Oh, those phantoms. But plus 12 now on the Nova. But with such a hugely 42k, you know, the closest one is 36k on Tala. It's surprising that Andrew isn't able to, you know, to get any headway against this. You know, he could have his own tanks here. There's nothing to prevent him because he's got Void Prism, Lash, and Stun on the Nova and Temples to push anything that comes in out. So he could have his own tanks here to prevent anybody else holding mid. Gonna bring his Temples forward, very wise. Throwing out a Lash. Luckily he didn't have the vision there, able to pick off a Colossus. And a nuke coming out immediately after the Lash, which is quite nice. But Demonator reacting very well. Loses 2 tanks, but definitely better than losing the entire mass that he had there. Mass being more important than anything right now because everyone's getting tons of money anyway. So it's more about mass and investments and able to keep your crucial ones. And you can throw away anything that doesn't take time to rebuild. So any elites, you know, oracles, tanks, sentries, anything that you can build in a second as if they, you know, never went. Are great choices right now. And losing, you know, Andrew needs to get cover here. Jesus, able to get the other Colossus there, very sweet. And oh, and the stun being thrown out. This is what I was talking about with the Nova stun and the Void Prism and the Temples. This mid should be Andrews. They just have so many disables and so many abilities. So very clever of Kankan to be getting these tanks out at last. To do the same thing as the Demonator is doing. You know, Demonator's been playing this perfectly from sudden death. You know, it's surprising that he's still in the game given the bounty lead on Andrew. But yeah, able to take mid a lot more often than most players would have been able to. You know, using this medevac to fly over and take it out. You know, it's a lot more effective than he should be, and that other players would be. Can I pause here? No, I can't actually pause. So I'm sorry, Andrew. Jesus, why isn't anybody pausing? This is terrible. Kankan or Andrew should pause. I can't pause, I'm just ops, I'm not, whatever it's called. You know, I'm not a referee. Loses a Thor. Like I said, they lost a bunch of elites here, but they can just rebuy them in seconds, so it's not a problem. Seriously, Andrew said PP ages ago, where is the PP? I'm gonna message Kankan to pause. Unless Andrew's, you know, said something to Kankan like don't worry about it, but very bad manners that no one's paused yet. I don't think I can actually. Oh yeah, I can. See what Kankan says about that. But like Andrew might have spilt something on his crotch and is dealing with that problem right now, and all of his supposed friends haven't got the courtesy to pause the game. Kankan not replying. Okay, there we go. I mean, that was the longest time between a PP and a pause that I've seen in a long time. You know, Andrew's house might be on fire right now, but he doesn't want to lose the Premade, so he has to stay in and play. Yeah, I think everybody was just too intense there, not realizing that somebody said PP ages ago. Useless control group macros. Well, Demo, your ones definitely weren't useless. You've been able to hold in the game much longer than you should have. I mean, looking at the bounty differences, okay, you're only 6k difference from Tala, so you will be able to, you know, deal with that if you had to. But Andrew's on 46k now, and he's got a very strong Nova. And then Free Trade and Kankan are about on par with each other, so it's a fairly even game. The only big difference here is that Andrew has a huge huge lead in bounty though. If you look at his Marines, oh my god, they got 300 health. Oh, but so does Tala. They've got about the same Marines. 512, 510. Corruptor coming out here. Just another thing to lash though. Two Novas on either side. This is a big old lash fest right here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is just hero play. No, it's pretty sad. I know what Demo's going for. Will these 3 BC? He's going to be using the tactical jump behind a CC and throwing out the Yamamotos. Only, you know, this is 20,000 health, and these Yamamotos aren't going to, you know, they're doing 1700 damage. So he's going to do about 3.5k damage to the CC with the ammo, and that's, you know, 20k health isn't going to do anything. Yeah, these aren't PFs though, so he could TP somewhere here and maybe take one out, but playing Voids ain't easy. Well, I haven't really seen a split like you see with other players, so I wouldn't really say this is playing Voids. You know, playing Voids is doing the mad splits and then timing your attack so that as the enemy just start fighting, your Voids are like surrounding both players and just ripping through them. Then they have to run away, but because the Void Rays have this weird beam, it follows them along, able to follow them all the way back home and kill everything. Like, that's playing Voids. I'm not sure what this is. This is just sitting AFK with 2 Thors in your base, camping 1 tower. You know, that's not really playing Voids. That was more just picking Voids because no one has Goliath and everyone had already picked their Merc, and knowing that like they're all going to suffer despite their bounty. Team 4 ready, Dallas says. Team 4 is always ready. I'm happy. I'm happy with the way this game's went. I mean, Hellhound, you know, D-Mate always says if he's cross from Hellhound, he instant loses. This time he was next to him, and he did get quite a bit from him, but so did Andrew, you know. But Andrew definitely got a bit more. And Dallas actually losing a surprising amount of Ultralisks, I think. Really crippled this team. Ultra's quite a risky thing. They didn't even need Oracles. No one even went Oracles, which is, you know, the inherent counter to a big Ultra play. And we're back in the game. Andrew's sitting mid. Demo holding his own with the tank sentry. You know, everyone's going for these temples, so you know, they're pretty useless at pushing past this choke. Which is why I still stand by the fact that Goliaths would just be much better. Big nuke coming out here. Probably going to get some. Yeah, get some on the way out. The reaction was good from Free Trade, but he was just a little bit out of position against nukes. Which is hard because, you know, he needs to hold this position in case there's anything poking in, and he also wants to poke in with his Nova, so he can't really be so far back. So it's kind of a mix, really, isn't it? Andrew pulling his Nova back doesn't have any risk of being targeted by this Nova, and Free Trade actually lagging out. Nobody should vote to leave, though. I mean, to drop him. Well, he might be back, guys. You don't know. He's tired. Pulls, you know, the cable. Andrew, you can't be salty about the game when you're winning. I don't know. The Nova has killed a few Colossi. It's not like Free Trade has been feared. I wouldn't say that. Oh, and Free Trade is gone. He's actually dropped though. That didn't even count down to 0, I think, before he fell out. So he's actually clicked either like surrender and disconnect, like I'm going to bed or whatever. But I mean, Demo shouldn't have any trouble really dealing with free trade. He'll probably actually micro free trade units slightly better than free trade would have, so it's not too bad. Oh, but the big nuke's gonna happen. Kills a few things there, not as much as I'd expected. They nerfed the nuke, but they made it slightly. I mean, they nerfed the strength, but they made it half as expensive. So you see a lot more nukes now. They just don't do the insane damage and insane AOE that they used to. Like the blast radius on the EU Nova is just like, you cannot escape from it. Once you've shot it, if you're not recalling out or jumping into medevacs, you're gonna lose it. Interesting. Where is... Okay, so Andrew still has his one, but actually getting pushed, Team 1. You can buy your own ones, but you can't buy other... Yeah, you can't buy elites for other people, which is sad. But you can get heroes with the gas, obviously, which is nice. Here comes the Phoenix. Not really sure what's supposed to be happening here. And Team 2 just went full retard. And just... Actually, it wasn't Team 2, it was just Vincent. Went full retard and just wrecked himself on Team 1. Not entirely sure what that was supposed to be, and he himself says what the fuck was that, but he was the one that did it, so if anybody knows the answer to that, that would be him. Tala now, not really the time to push in, you know, you don't just fight them one by one. If he was going to do that, he would have come in before. These clones actually will be able to soak up lashes, because from Andrew's perspective, he cannot tell which are the real colossi. Let's see. There's nothing different about them. So Andrew... So yeah, there's... Okay, the scan is obviously showing it right now, but normally he wouldn't be able to see. It's just like a normal hallucination. But yeah, obviously the bounty, 50k to Andrew's favour, everybody else not as high, and Demonator doing well, Tala doing well. But Tala went pure Marines from the start. Like, it was just Zealot Marine, and then it was Temple Marine, and then for some reason he puts 9 attack, now 12 on his Temples. Yeah, you just never could buy elites with your AF or your Gone Allies units, which is, yeah, it's stupid, because you're half the amount of tanks and sentries you can get. And I guess, yeah, if you could get 6 BC, this would be even more powerful. If you're in 6 BC behind the CCs and Yamamoto, I'm guessing that's why he's asking. I mean, Free Trade's saying sorry, but I'm pretty sure he clicked surrender. I don't think it timed down. Big lift on the Archon, able to lash a 550 there. I'm not sure what that was. Massive nuke coming in, killing everything. Even though the Archon was lifted, it wasn't able to do anything. And this Phoenix actually on 100 health. What was 550 though? In bounty. Sure, a Thor for 5 gives you 550 now? That's insane. Oh my god. Free Trade / Demonator actually able to kill Kankan's Archon. The first Archon died, but I think Andrew, yeah, Demo right now, finding out that he has no recall. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? This guy has no recall? That's really funny. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he must have been so happy that he got the Archon. That's what I mean. Recall towers for noobs. He's making a new meta, well, the cons meta of getting anti-hero tower. Very funny. And so Kankan lost his Archon. I mean, with the slight price changes now, it's actually very much worth it to buy to sacrifice a Nova to kill an Archon, because the net gain for you is still 250. You sack your Nova for 750 to get an Archon for 1000. So 250 minerals is a lot. And here we go. Demo TPing his BCs behind the CCs, dealing 4000 damage, but the Phoenixes are there for the anti. Look, he's throwing down a bunker. It would have been epic if you could have done it with 6 BCs, but unfortunately, not today. Today's not the day. Double PF. I mean, making them spend 700 on this team just so they don't get 3 BCs in the back. Very funny. That's true. You might have been able to do something. If he played either distracted them or given you some BCs as well, could have made things happen there. What's this? One thing I noticed I haven't spoken about yet is, first of all, there's an Odin on the field. Pretty useless. It's got a 12k HP, but you know, this Nova has plus 14 hero damage, plus 15. He's probably just going to one-shot that Nova. And actually, Andrew, thinking, okay, what do I need now? I've got plus 15 attack. I'm going to get a Colossus. And immediately get clone on the Colossus, because he's probably sick of these 4 Colossi from Team 2 ripping through him so much. I'm not sure about this Colossus positioning though. Needs to kind of back out a little bit. Archon does get lifted. Nuke coming down. Nothing's good. Nothing's really... Oh, no. Yep, the Archon actually gets ripped through seemingly by a Phoenix. Just one Phoenix. And a Nuke coming out once again against Team 2. But lots of damage happening. Nuke does happen, but the Nova gets lifted as well. Nova going down. So quite a big old messy fight, and a lot of things lost. Archon and Archon and Nova, and then the BCs from Demo coming out again. He's pretty committed here. A big crawler push coming in from Kankan. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't know that Demo's been playing around. He thinks that there's just no turrets here. So there is an anti-air turret preventing Demo from... preventing Kankan from coming in and sniping his base with the CC, with the crawler, sniping his CC with the crawler, sorry. Which was the big plan, big play from Kankan there. But Kankan, yeah, he just needs to work on getting his Marines out and contributing to the mass, I think, of Team 1. Obviously, the Archon still needs to be coming out, he needs to be protecting that. But quite a suicidal attack from Team 1. Demo, with a lot of mass there, could probably kill someone if he really wanted to. Maybe if he had a Nova to deal with the heroes. Big drops coming in. Corrupt is doing some work, and generally causing trouble with all of his mass there. The Colossi are trapped and are going down. Evidently no recall available to Tala, who's only on 90 energy, so 10 energy short of a recall. Unable to save his 2 Colossi, which, like I say, the money at this time isn't so much of an issue. It's more about time. You know, 90 seconds every time he loses a Colossus, so 180 seconds, 3 minutes it's going to take him to be in that powerful position of having his heroes. And actually, Team 1 not having either Thors or Colossi, which they were relying on for a lot of DPS. Demo's flying in. Getting wrecked by this one anti-air turret, which caused so much trouble. It's hard to believe, but actually I think Team 1 saw that Demo did that, and are now going to just finish Team 2 off. Team 2 not having the mass to deal with this. Yeah, absolutely, that's a rip. Demo giving Team 1 the confidence, taking a lot of their supply down, and then Demo pretty much securing that Team 2's death, and actually giving himself second place. So at least in terms of elimination. Odin has just returned, but like I said, that Odin was never going to do too much, and actually got Shrek'd. Yeah, immediately one lash from Andrew, and it's a goner. Like, what was the point of that Odin? Two Thor's actually much more useful, because at least you can only lash one at a time. Kankan actually just took a snipe or something. Seemingly lost a lot of health on his Archon all of a sudden. And I'm having to back out. But yeah, Demo once again coming in with his mass, using the fact that you're allowed to share control now, and obviously the Marines still spawn, so that's quite a big change. Able to use his allies and Marines, so the only thing you can't do is buy elites for them, which is sad. But yeah, Demo definitely securing himself second place in elimination mode by doing this. Just simply unable, you can't deal with 4 supplies like this. But yeah, I mean, Pure Marines and then Void Rays was a very dirty tactic coming out for them. Oh wow. So he might have done that on purpose. He's like, well, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Ripperoo for Team 2. Andrew very etiquetely, politely leaving the CC for his ally. And now Demo, securing himself second place, is probably just going to run his mass in. Yeah, it has been 2 hours. The game has been long enough, and in truth, Andrew played the best out of everyone. Maybe not top right team, because Team 1 and Team 3, they don't get to see each other very often, so it's difficult for them to influence necessarily how the game goes for either of them. They can make it easier and harder depending on how much pressure they're putting on either side, but overall, Andrew played very, very well. Kankan played well as well. The DTs were a good choice. And here's the VC again, ready to take out Kankan's PF, dealing 7,000 damage on his out of the 20,000. Actually, quite a lot. You wouldn't expect that much from just 3 elites like that. But the Corruptor's there, ready, and a turret, just in case of any tomfoolery again. Doesn't need to watch the replay, you can just watch the video. I will post this on YouTube. And yeah, I mean, a very, very hero-based game, so it's not particularly surprising that there were 2 Novas with like plus 20 hero damage, just because you just lash everything. Novas counter every hero, just inherently. So pretty funny little meta that's coming out here. Mostly hero play. Demo probably the only person that had more than like 1 elite, actually using sentry tank medi to the advantage. Everybody else, obviously Corruptors a lot in Vikings coming out to deal with air, but other than that, yeah, pretty good game. Strange new meta coming out. Nothing I'm really used to. Just really, really hero based, ultimate based, Nova, Archon, and then just pure Marines on top of that. Very strange meta. Not really one that I'm a fan of. I'd prefer it to be more like high control group sort of stuff. But there we have it. We'll just check the APMs and I'll cut it short. I think everyone's probably pretty tired after that, so probably no more premades. Demo will have the highest APM, almost guaranteed. Not only because he used the most different amount of units, but just because he always does. Yeah, Demo 178, then second Andrew the winner, effectively 117, and Kankan 103. 25 APM from Dallas, but he stayed in the game, so that's why his was dragged down. It's not like he was playing with 25 whilst he was actually in the game. And 71 for Free Trade, who said he was tired, which explains that. I mean, yeah, Demo's army didn't do too much. It did reduce some supply, which I guess is what happened. Anyway, that's good night, I think. Well played to everyone. Team 4 not being able to stay in quite that long, but everybody else obviously being able to put up some fight against each other. Yeah.